Welcome, everyone, to Not So Pro Football Talk. We got a heater for you today. This is going to be a day with absolutely no news at all for the most part. But just at the end of June, the NFL decided to drop a bomb of a trade into the podcast. So we appreciate them bringing some news for us to talk about this Monday. But yes, guys, we are getting closer and closer to the football season. We are about to enter the fantasy draft time where we get ready. I believe that's starting next week. Correct, AJ?
Yeah, I do apologize. We're supposed to start this week, but there's a unexpected birthday dinner that I'll be attending to. So sorry, guys. We'll start next week.
All right, we'll be starting next week. As all right, I think we can all use one less week of fantasy. That's just how I feel. But we are getting closer and closer to the NFL season. I believe right now it's just like the last little bit before training camp starts, and that's where things really start heating up. Everybody at training camp, all the coaches are going to be saying that he's bigger than ever. He's faster than ever.
The next Patrick Mahomes.
I can't wait for it. This is this part of the season where every single fan is going to feel so good about your team. Whether you're a Cardinals fan, whether you're a Chiefs fan, whether you're a Jags fan, all of them are going to feel good about this.
Whoa. I don't know about that statement right there. Every fan is going to feel good about their team.
They all feel good about their teams.
Really?
Yes, they're all like, okay, everything's going right. Everything out of training camp is looking good. In their heads, AJ, listen, as a Packer fan who has to listen to Bear fans all the time, and this is the point of the season where everybody's looking incredible. This is the part of the season where, remember when I was like 2 or 3 years ago, Romeo Dobbs' rookie season, I was like, oh, this guy's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
This is the part of the season, man, where everybody's like high on their own players, man. But I can't wait for it.
Hear me out. This is the scariest time for Niners fans.
Oh, no.
Okay, look at the past of the Niners. This is the time when half their team gets injured. And it happens almost every single year. So forgive me, but I am not looking forward to this part of the offseason. This is the time where I'm like, fingers crossed, everything's clenched. Please do not get hurt. Please do not get hurt. I do not want Mac Jones to be the starting quarterback. But
one game.
What?
One game.
You want one game?
One game. Brock Purdy gets the flu.
Well, week 18. We rest up because we're already close to playoffs. One game. That's your one game right there.
Week 5.
Week 5? Hell no. Oh, my gosh, dude. We start off the season so strong against Seattle Seahawks, and we end the season with Seattle. I don't know. I'm stressing myself out here.
All right. Well, I can't wait for this time of the year for us to get our hopes up and then get completely crushed as the season starts. But let's go ahead and get into the blockbuster trade of the day, as it is the name of the video. Jalen Ramsey, who has been talked about for a while, and AJ's sipping his cup right now because he called this for a couple weeks ago. I forget his exact wording, but I do remember he did call this.
Thank you.
Jalen Ramsey has been on the market for a while. According to rumors, this trade kind of fell apart about a week ago, and it was no longer on the table, and it kind of just resurfaced, I guess, in the last couple of days. And the Miami Dolphins has traded away Jalen Ramsey to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was originally reported. And I was like, oh, okay, Steelers got better, no brainer. Like Jalen Ramsey, whatever you think about him. And then a day, he's a veteran guy who can elevate your defense. But then I found out what they gave up. And it was Minka Fitzpatrick, who is, I believe, in the past how many years, is a 5-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro type of guy. I know he's been dealing with injuries as of late, but he is one of the best defensive backs in the entire league. And that's a huge hole in the safety for the Steelers to make up. Now, they also did get Jonnu Smith, a really good tight end, out of the deal as well. So I do think that is a plus for them. But Pat Freiermuth, I wonder how that's going to work with splitting snaps. So if you're a fantasy guy, I'd love to hear Vincent's take. I don't know where he is right now, but as a tight end guy, how he feels about these two tight ends going forward. But pretty big trade there. I don't know who I really feel like is the winner at the end of this. And there was a pick swap for a 7th and a 5th. Who cares?
It matters, Reed. Come on, man. It matters.
We're talking big picture, okay? So Jalen Ramsey for and Jonnu Smith for Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know how I fully feel about it. AJ, what are your thoughts about this trade?
I think it's absolutely garbage. Honestly, I don't like. Yeah, everyone wants to talk. Oh, it's fun. It's exciting. Is it really though? Like Jalen Ramsey, he wanted to be out of Miami for the longest time. There's a lot of players that have reported that they want to be out of Miami for a reason, and so we're going to get into that later. Right now, we're talking about the trade. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have Pat. I call him Freiermuth, Freiermuth, whatever you want to say. I say Freiermuth, okay? So they have Pat Freiermuth, 26 years old. And yes, I get it. Jonnu Smith had an amazing season last year. He was just racking up those fantasy points. He gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Pittsburgh Steelers fans are all like in awe about it. You have a great tight end already. He just wasn't utilized as he should have been utilized. And now you're going to bring in a 29-year-old tight end, Jonnu Smith. Is that really going to help you out? No. You lose Fitzpatrick. I'm a huge fan of Fitzpatrick. I wanted the Niners to draft him when it was his draft year, but instead, guess who drafted him? The Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins drafted him. Game 2 of the season, they played the Niners. Fitzpatrick played amazing as a rookie. Right after the game, he gets traded to Pittsburgh. Who does Pittsburgh play week 3? The Niners. And yes, Fitzpatrick played. He plays great. I love the way he plays. He's very aggressive. He could be put in multiple spots. He's just a well-rounded guy in that defense. But now he's back home. Now he's back to the team that drafted him, the Miami Dolphins. I think that's a huge plus, right? You lose Jalen Ramsey, which he's a vet and he is a presence on the defense. I'm not going to go as far as saying that he is an elite guy. He might still be in this league, but really, I'm not too worried about Jalen Ramsey, right? He is not pinnacle Jalen Ramsey right now. He is on the downwards path of his career. While Fitzpatrick, he's at his prime right now. He looks great. So by Miami picking him up, I think that is huge. By Miami losing Jonnu Smith, I don't think of it as a huge loss. Yeah, he played amazing, but realistically, he was 28 years old last year, an aging tight end that barely made the roster, had a great year, racked up his value, and you traded him to get a higher draft pick. Hell yeah. That's great. Get rid of that 29-year-old tight end. Go out in free agency. Go get that, put in that rookie that you drafted this year. Let's see what he has. And because you still have Tyreek Hill, who doesn't want to be there. You still have Jalen Waddle, who is content. And you still have Devon Achane, who's out there, who is also not very happy. So you have weapons. Jonnu Smith is not going to be a huge hit for your team. Now, but by adding Fitzpatrick, I think that is tremendous. It makes that defense younger. It makes that defense more aggressive. It complements that defense. But a little bit of a stagnant play, not so much. You're looking for the future. You're looking for speed, and you're getting some more draft picks. So I think this is an obvious win for the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, Pittsburgh. Don't like the new look. I don't think it's going to work out.
I will agree with you that I think, especially with the cap space that they saved, from getting rid of Jalen Ramsey, I do think in the long term that this is better for the Dolphins. I do wonder about McDaniel's future, though, with them losing 2 key players. Jalen Ramsey was a captain for them last year, so he is a locker room guy. He is a part of that team. They've lost a lot of different players this past offseason, from Calais Campbell. I'm losing other ones. I believe they lost an offensive lineman who was a captain, if I remember correctly. They've lost a lot of players. I do very much question McDaniel's future with the team. This team wasn't very good last year, especially because Tua got hurt. I do question a lot about how long McDaniel's is going to last there with the current roster. I think potentially that why all these people may want out is potentially the coach. I think I don't know why you would want to get out of Miami. Miami is a great city where it's great to vacation. Being able to play in a really nice area where you don't get as many taxes on your millions of dollars and etc. Players flock to Miami. You can get paid less to go to Miami. All these players wanting to get out confuses me personally. So
you had a running back today, Raheem the Dream Mostert, which he used to be called the Dream. Now he's a piece of crap. Raheem Mostert, he comes out and says, "Wow, another big star wants to leave Miami. Big surprise for being a shit organization." From what he was saying, he posted that on what was it, Twitter or Instagram?
I think it was Twitter.
Well, he posted that. That says a lot, right? Because we did hear that Jalen Ramsey wants to get out, right? We did hear that Tyreek Hill wants out. We did hear that Devon Achane is not happy. And now we're hearing that Raheem Mostert, who's no longer with the team, has nothing to do with the Miami Dolphins now. He has gone to rest in Foreverland in the NFL career, which is in Las Vegas. He didn't like it there either, that they get treated like garbage. Well, I think what Vince was trying to say about the Niners, which I completely disagree, that there is no discipline there in Miami with McDaniel as the head coach. I like McDaniel. He's a cool guy. Do I think that he's a head coach? I think he's more of a team player. He wants to be friends with everyone. We literally saw last year that Tyreek Hill snuck in a ping pong table in the locker room, and it was just a huge deal, right? There's no respect there. There's no authority figure. So these players want to get out of Miami, and that's kind of weird because, like you said, Reed, usually it's the other way around. People want into Miami because of the outside the field perks, right? You're in Miami, you got the beach, it's beautiful, it's great. The color of the uniforms is awesome. What's up, Vince? Appreciate you being here. But now we're seeing all these players wanting out. Now, I do feel like it is a direct impact from the head coach. I love McDaniel. I don't think that he is head coach material. I do think he's a coordinator, one of the best coordinators in the league if you allowed him to be. And I do feel like if they do not have a winning record this season, that seat is going to be extremely hot, and I would not be surprised if they let him go.
I completely agree with that. Vincent, thanks for joining us. We are talking about Jalen Ramsey, the big trade with Minkah, Jonnu Smith, etc. I got a few questions for you, but first, what is your reaction to this trade? And then also, what are your thoughts about the Dolphins locker room? Do they respect McDaniels? I think we all agreed no. But why does everybody want out so bad of
Miami? In my opinion, the trade is all right. Obviously, I think them giving away Minkah Fitzpatrick was a little much for Jalen Ramsey. They're both kind of approaching the end of their careers, possibly, maybe like one major contract left if they can get it done. But basically, the trade was all right to me. I guess Miami is just not the hot spot it used to be because of coaching, as you guys have alluded to already. But it could just be something else. Maybe the organization there is just in a turmoil because of the Tua situation. Team doesn't look like it has a direction. Is Tua going to be there long term? I believe his extension should be coming up in the next few years. And are they going to go with him? Is Mike McDaniels going to be the coach by then? There's a bunch of question marks. So I think right now it's turning kind of into a place where maybe players go to, die.
No.
But you never know. Sometimes new teams pop up and they just need one good draft to get back on the ball. And maybe Miami did that this past year, and maybe they'll continue it going into the next few years. And that's why they're getting rid of some of these higher contract guys. So.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if you saw this part, Vince, but I did say that I do feel like Miami's the clear winner here. They got rid of two aging guys. Like I said, Jonnu Smith, 29 years old. Don't need him. Makes no sense for Pittsburgh to pick him up. And they also make some room in the cap area. But in all honesty, I want to throw this out there. Do you think this could have re-sparked the organization if they actually went in the first 3 rounds. I don't know what round he went in, but maybe the first 2 rounds for a quarterback. Talk about the Miami Dolphins, because we don't know what's going to happen with Tua. I know they got Zach Wilson, but how much are we willing to bank on that? I know that they drafted Quinn Ewers, which is great, right? Texas guy, but he didn't bring that much of a pop. I believe they did anything, kind of like maybe drafting Shadur Sanders, right? Very late. That could bring another spark into the team, bring hype up, make Tyreek Hill want to be there, make Achane want to be there, make all these guys like, hey, you know what? This is a fun, exciting team. I want to be part of it. Right now, like you said, Vince, I don't see any direction when it comes to Miami Dolphins. What are they going for? What are they doing? And I think a huge part of it, yes, like we said before with the coaching staff, but how much do we trust in Tua? Even when healthy, how good of a quarterback is this guy? We all knew he was a par quarterback, not subpar, not above par. We all knew he was a par quarterback, but how much do we trust him? We've seen a lot of sparks where these guys just go at it and they make amazing runs during the season, but mainly because of game changers like Devon Achane and as well as Tyreek Hill. Not so much with Tua. I think Tua is a good quarterback, but how excited are we to go to an organization where their franchise quarterback is Tua Tagovailoa?
You want to go first, Reed, or you want me to go?
I'll go ahead. So I think Tua is a quarterback that you can win with. Is he an elite guy? Is he the guy that's going to save your organization? No, but can you win games with Tua? Yes. Now, we haven't seen the playoff wins, obviously, the past few years or really his entire career, because just Dolphins have been known to not be a postseason team. This is long before Tua got there. They lose in the postseason. They lose in the cold weather. It's who the team is. It's the culture. It's the setting. So I do think you can win with Tua. Obviously, the stats are not there as of lately, but I do think he is a serviceable quarterback that you could win with. It's not the reason, though, you're winning, but he can win.
Yeah, obviously I'm not the biggest Tua supporter. I like Tua. I thought he was a great player in college. I think he's a great player in the beginning of his career there with Miami Dolphins. And I think when he got there, he changed the culture along with Mike McDaniels. They were this gunslinging type of team. But Tua was never, in my opinion, the prime focus. It was always who was around Tua and who is Tua helping make better with the type of plays that he can make. But Tua is not a possible all-star, all-pro kind of guy. In my opinion, I think Tua is a kind of system quarterback, and he fits really well with the type of system McDaniels has there. They put him in a lot of great situations. He's had years where he has great lines, and then he's had some recent years where he's had horrible lines, and it's really showing. But in my opinion, I think Tua will be in the league for a little bit longer than we expect him to be. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he'll be on the field because he has a spark that nobody else has on that team as of right now. So I don't think that he's going to be pushed out, in my opinion, at least throughout his contract here. I think as long as he's healthy, he's on the field. I don't think anybody can take that away from him until he's on the bench.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Like I said, I don't think he's subpar. I don't think he's above par. I think he's just there. Like Reed said, you could win with him. He won't get you wins. It sounds like a very familiar situation what the Niners had before, right? With Jimmy G and all that. But that's why I'm saying it doesn't spark interest to players, right? You're not excited to go play with two. You rather go play with a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. At this point, you're excited about those players. With Tua, I don't think it sparks that much of an interest. I do like this comment, though, if we want to get into that.
That one is a good one. Steelers, it's very interesting. People are I feel like a lot of people online are praising them for making all these offseason moves, from Metcalf to Aaron Rodgers to Ramsey, and I'm missing one more. I think there was 4. I'm missing it. But they made another. Maybe it's Johnny Smith. I don't know. I thought they made one more guy. But people are praising them for these offseason moves, saying that, oh, they got better in each of these positions. You could argue that, but is it that much better? Like, George Pickens over DK, I'm taking DK. Russell Wilson over Rodgers, that one's debatable, but I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. Minka over Jalen Ramsey, I think there's an argument there of which one is better. I think both are really great. But all those things, people are saying, oh, they got definitely better than. And even if they did get better, I don't know if it's that much better where you're going to be able to win multiple games, win in the postseason, and not just be a first round out. I don't know about this saving the head coach or the GM's career type of moves for them, but they are making moves to try to save their career. You can say that.
Yeah, I think they're in desperate mode right now, right? They're hitting the panic button. Kind of like I kind of steal this, Vince. You sent it in the Twitter chat where it's like the Steelers want to be younger, they want to be like more explosive, but yet they go out and sign, or they let go of George Pickens because he's a me first type player, and then they go and sign Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey. It's just like, okay, what the hell are we talking about here? And we're talking about the Steelers this offseason. And a lot of people, like Reed was saying, are very excited to see what the Steelers are doing. Whoa, how are they going to look? This is awesome. This is the new look Steelers, right? We are supporting this. And we look at this offseason. I mean, the biggest signing you had was getting back Mason Rudolph. Right. And I know some people want to say, what about Darius Slay? I like Darius Slay. I think that was a good signing. He is up there in age as well. So what are the Steelers really going to look like now with DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers? This is like the Island of Misfit Toys, if you ask me. This is the Frankenstein team that was just like, what the hell can we do? What's left over? It's like, you ever seen that show Chopped where they go and they make food and they're like, okay, you use these items and this is all that was left over. They had the last pick. Right, they got all the scraps, and that's basically what's happening. I mean, Jonnu Smith, you had a great tight end already who's younger than Jonnu Smith, and out of his career, Jonnu Smith had a couple, maybe a few great seasons. Last year just so happened to be one of his better seasons, and yeah, Miami Dolphins cashed in on it. So good for Miami. Horrible in Pittsburgh. Vince said that this may be their first losing season. I've been waiting on it. I think it's going to happen. I'm not excited about this team. I think this is a ragtag team that is really just going to flop. Don't like it.
Yeah, honestly, I think I still stand by this could possibly be their first losing season. Who knows? It is a bunch of, guys that just are pulled out of different hats, different skill sets. And we don't even know if it's going to mesh well. They're doing all these trades very late in the offseason. So it gives less time for these guys to actually acclimate and learn the playbooks. And, of course, a lot of these guys are veterans, so they're going to be easily able to get the schemes, everything like that. So they don't have to worry about that, like if these guys were really young or rookies. But it's like the guys that were in that spot already before you drafted or traded for these guys, like, how is it going to mesh now? Obviously, getting rid of Minka Fitzpatrick, you have a hole there in the safety position now because Jalen Ramsey's not going to play there. So now you have another guy in the backfield who's probably going to slide in who wasn't there before. And so now that position is now at a deficit. The tight end position, Freiermuth, I mean, everybody knows in fantasy, like, you pick up Freiermuth before almost any other player because consistently he's going to get some catches, maybe a touchdown in there. You never know. But Jonnu Smith, he was the only guy out there. Tyreek Hill was injured or he sucked. Jalen Waddle was injured or he sucked. Tua was out. Who's the backup quarterback going to throw to? It's going to be the biggest guy on the field, and that's Jonnu Smith. Yes, the Steelers could do that, but they have so many weapons, and these are all older weapons. DK Metcalf, super good down the field, deep threat. We've seen it many, many times. But who's there to accompany him? Are you talking about Jonnu Smith, a guy who's also a deep threat and big body? It's like, where's the speed? I know obviously they got a rookie wide receiver. I cannot remember his name at the top of my head right now.
Lemonius Craig.
Lemonius Craig. I feel like there was another guy too. I don't remember.
Lemonius Craig.
Interesting.
That name.
But yeah. So obviously there's a lot of holes in this team, and I like what Reed brought up about having Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson. I also think it's a flip of a coin. Russell Wilson did very well there, and we just don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And he's already talking about this might be my last season. So does he throw it all out there? Does he just have a rinky-dink season where it's like, oh man, maybe I should have retired before? We don't know. And then obviously the team that he's with, even though they have an improved O-line, do they progress with Aaron Rodgers, or is Aaron Rodgers going to hold the ball too long because he doesn't have any weapons like he's used to? I don't know. Yeah, he's going to throw the ball somewhere.
It's Robbie Trees, dude. What do you mean?
Robbie Trees. But yeah, in my opinion, it's just a really, really bad aged offensive side. Defense, it looks all right, but then there's the question that we've been seeing looming: what's going to go on with TJ Watt?
Ooh.
Is he going to get paid? They're having some contract difficulties here. I think he won't be a guy that holds out, but
he already is technically.
Yeah, basically.
It was his first day today that he missed out.
No, he missed out on all of voluntary or mandatory OTAs. And he's getting fined $170K for it.
Yeah. So
now they're probably waive those when he gets signed, which I do think he will get signed. But there's noise there for sure.
That should be their number one priority.
And he deserves to get paid. I mean, he's the number one guy in the NFL as of a defensive player. The only guy that compares to him in the sacks is Trey Hendrickson, who also hasn't gotten paid. So it's like,
if John Lynch is watching, I'm willing to pitch in to help, get a TJ on the team.
I got $3.
I'll pitch in. I'm close with Jed York. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's get some comments in here. Mr. Magic, Finns aren't winning a Super Bowl, especially with Tua, and have to fight the rest of the competition in the AFC. That's been the problem for basically any AFC team for the last 30 years, feels like. There's the Patriots and then the Chiefs. You lose against one of them. Mr. Magic, I'm just glad I don't root for the Steelers. Yeah. I think they're a great team. I don't mind them winning. And I don't want Trey to yell at us that we just brushed by his comments as he said to us, sorry I'm late. Rough day for me today. Hey, you're good, Trey. Appreciate you coming in. All right. Do we have any other last comments about this trade before we move on to the next topic?
No.
We'll see how it all shakes up. Any realistic fan out there knows you never judge a trade on the day one. You judge the trade 2-3 years after it has happened. You can actually see the results. So we'll see who's the losers and the winners of this years from now. Let's move on to our next topic. And we're going to stay with the same team, actually, which is kind of weird. But we're going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers. Yes, our favorite topic on the show. We love this guy. AJ and Vincent are just the biggest fans of him. But on the Pat McAfee show about 5 days ago, whatever, he went on there and broke some pretty big news for him, which we've all been speculating for a while, and he's been hinting at for a while. But he says will probably be, he didn't say 100%, this will most likely be his last season. So my question to you guys, one, do we see a farewell tour where fans wave at him and say bye to him in every stadium? Does he take in the whole season? Does everybody talking about his last time playing the Bears or stuff like that? And if it does happen, the second half of the question for you guys, how excited are you? AJ, I pass it off to you before we go to Vincent.
Well, obviously, it's always sad whenever you see one of the greats, from our generation and even of all time at this point, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben. I'm even going to throw out there, some Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, that generation, yep. Drew Brees, when they're done, right? I do believe Aaron Rodgers is the last of his breed out there. So yes, it is sad. And yes, I do believe he deserves that farewell. Thank you, Aaron Rod. Thank you, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. But this whole, I'm just sick and tired of it. Oh yeah, this may not be my last year. Kind of. Hopefully, I don't know. Let's see if the stars align. The moon has to be in a crescent, and my spaghetti has to spell out with an S in that night. I don't know. Right? It could be anything. But this guy just, dude. What are you going to do, right? If he does not do well this year, yeah, for sure, this is his last year. He can't go out and embarrass himself again for the third year in a row. I want to say fourth, but third year in a row. I know one of them he got injured, but it's still embarrassing from an outer perspective.
Two of them got injured.
Yes, but one he didn't play due to injury.
Yes.
So that's one. If he does play well, he's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to drag this out until next off season, and maybe I have another one in me. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be with the Steelers. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not looking forward to that. I kind of hope it's just done and over with this year. I kind of hope the Steelers totally flop. I kind of hope they have a losing record. And I kind of hope that Aaron Rodgers plays like crap. And I kind of hope that everyone gives the respect. Hey, thank you, Rodgers. Goodbye. But let's move on.
All right. That's it.
My big thing is obviously this year the Steelers play the Packers. So I have a question coming at you.
Okay.
Does Rodgers become – I don't know if he has already beaten the Packers. I don't think he has.
Yeah, we have not played.
Yeah, so does he become one of the next – I think there's only 6 quarterbacks that have done it. Does he become another quarterback that actually beats the Packers? I'll leave that question in the air. Okay. So now I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers and what I think of him.
That's right later.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to have a good season, to be honest. I think if he does the farewell and kind of like takes it in with open arms, saying like, hey, guys, like, it's for sure my last year. I want everybody to come to these games and honor me, blah, 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 because you're never going to see me again going off the face of the earth. I don't believe it 100%. Maybe he will go on like more retreats, but I think we'll see his face in the NFL world. He's going to be on the Pat McAfee show. He's going to be somewhere where Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's not just going to go cold turkey. I don't believe it at all. So who knows? Maybe he gets into management or something. I don't think he'll be a broadcaster. I'm pretty good about that and him not being one of those type of quarterbacks. I would not watch him, to be honest.
Put me to sleep.
But yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, if it's his last year, I think it's good for the league. On to the next generation. I think he is, what AJ said, the last of his breed here. He's the last of the drafted quarterbacks that he was drafted with to be in the league. And I think that's good for him. He's the last one. Awesome. Go out with the bang if you can. But he's playing a lot of teams that are going to be tough. I mean, week 1, he's going to play the Jets. The Jets are a new revitalized team. Who knows who's going to be better equipped at this point in time? Do the Steelers get it together? Do the Jets get it together? We're going to find out week 1. Was Aaron Rodgers holding the Jets back? And it's a whole bunch of primetime type of things for Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to be in the media all season long. I already know it. So hopefully it's the last year, in my opinion. I think it would be good for him, for us on this channel, and for the NFL in its entirety.
I'm gonna have to find some ways when he finally retires to keep him up in the conversation for you guys. I know you guys love talking about him so much. But your question, Vince, Steelers versus Packers, I think that's like week 7 or 8. I forget exactly where it lands. It's 8. Okay, so I was pretty much on the dot. So that's going to be a very interesting game. It is in Pittsburgh, so it's going to be home field to the Steelers. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I can't say 100% the Packers are going to win it. I try not to be the delusional Packers fan that I love being. But the Packers and the Steelers both have really good defenses. The Steelers defense is always top notch. And the Packers defense was top 5, top 10 last year. And hopefully that carries into this year as well. But who do I think will ultimately win? I'm going to give edge to Packers because I think they have more synergy and more, what's the word? They play with each other longer, while Aaron Rodgers, he has a lot of checks and a lot of things. I would imagine he's going to try to put all that into the Steelers offense for the most part with Arthur Smith. And I don't know if everybody's going to be able to pick up on that. So I think there's going to be a lot of miscues, especially early on in the season where people are not on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. As we saw with the Packers when there's new players, we saw with the Jets, people not being on the same page with them. And I think it's going to be the same thing in the Steelers with how late he's joining, people not being on the same page as him of what he wants and what he expects. So that's the biggest red flag I see with the Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers is that he wants to do it a certain way, which if everybody can get on, it runs well. It is a very good offense if everybody can get on the same page as Aaron Rodgers. But when it's so new to so many players and not a lot of offenses implement a lot of things he likes to do anymore, it's very foreign to them. It doesn't really mesh too well. That's why I don't think it's going to work too well for them. But I think it's going to be a good game. I like to give edge to the Packers, but it should be a really good game.
You think they would purposely throw the game to allow Aaron Rodgers to be in that level of quarterbacks of beating every single team?
No. I don't think the NFL is rigged like you do, AJ.
Oh, they say it was rigged.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Say it's like a way to die. It's heavily favored. But there's a couple of questions for Mr. Magic. He's been here since the beginning. So
that guy.
Yeah, we could answer some of these questions. Who do you think will have the best record? That's kind of tough, right? Because there's always this one team that emerges so freaking well, like it was the Vikings or it was if Philadelphia Eagles or whatnot. But what do y'all think? It's kind of hard.
I think he's talking about between the Steelers and the Dolphins, I think, in this question.
In that case,
probably.
I'm going to say Steelers.
You're going to say Steelers?
I'm against you guys saying they're going to automatically have a losing record. We've been calling that for the past 3 seasons, and it hasn't happened. So I think they're going to have a winning record, make the playoffs, lose first round. So I don't think the Dolphins will do that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to think the Dolphins have a better team or better record.
Yeah, I think it's just all about health, honestly. This is a hard question because both of these teams could have just horrible health. But I think I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins too. I feel like the way they were banged up this past year, they went 8-9, and the way that the Steelers were this past year as well, they were 10-7. Not too far off for a team that had no freaking quarterback and a team that had 2 great quarterbacks. They're 2 good quarterbacks. I'll say that. So I think I'm going to give the edge to the Miami Dolphins. It just depends if they can stay healthy.
All right. Next question from Mr. Magic. Where does A-Rod rank all time? So in the all-time quarterback list, everybody's always going to put Tom Brady at the top just because of the success he's had. Where I've always landed on this conversation is Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football of all time. There's nobody, in my opinion, who can throw the ball as well as Aaron Rodgers. So if we're talking about just that, I put him number 1. If we're talking about quarterback of all time, since I would put him number 1 because I think both are very similar, but I know everybody's going to give it to Tom Brady and nobody will listen to anything other than that because he has, 7 rings or whatever. So 1 or 2.
Who's the best basketball player of all time, Reed?
Michael Jordan.
Why is he the best?
Because he's the best.
How?
He went to 6 and won 6. Tom Brady went to 10, lost 3.
Yeah, but who's close to him in the NFL?
In the NFL?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Joe Montana? Or I don't know who's. There's been Terry Bradshaw won 4.
Joe Cool, man. Best QB of all time.
What do you win, 2 or 3?
2 or 3?
4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Couldn't remember. I know Steve Young won at least once. I couldn't remember if he won 1 or 2. I forgot how to divvy it up.
Joe Cool, man. Joe Montana. Different.
But the NBA and NFL are 2 different things. One player in the NBA can take over way more than one player in the NFL can, even though it's a quarterback. So I don't really compare the 2 as far as the GOATs.
As well as the times as well. I mean,
yes.
Nowadays you can't, we talked about this all the time, but touch quarterbacks or this
Yep.
or whatnot. Their quarterbacks couldn't be as smart as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the best to do it on the field as far as snap count, throwing out the back then, you know, they're a lot more lenient on those type of things, but you couldn't really take advantage, have a free play, right? That wasn't a thing back then. So it was just like, hey, and that's a lot where Aaron Rodgers' success comes from, and that's why he's one of the best to do it, because he could capitalize on those things, and not every quarterback, hardly any quarterback can do something like that. So there's a lot of categories that we can't really rank these quarterbacks on. So it's kind of hard to rank someone of all time. A lot of respect. I wish I saw a lot of Joe Montana games. Go back and watch them. Tom Brady's amazing. Aaron Rodgers on my Mount Rushmore as well. I mean, I have a lot of respect for those guys. But Aaron Rodgers' rank of all time, I have to look at more quarterbacks. I have not done my research as far as every team in their history. To the best of my knowledge, I'll have him top 10 for sure.
I think there's a possibility he might fall out of my top 10. Just a possibility. It just depends on what angle I'm looking at. Is it like the best winner of all time, best thrower of all time, overall everything enmeshed together? I don't know if he makes my top 10 with everything meshed together. That's just me being honest, because there's a lot of history of quarterbacks out there.
A lot.
And you can't compare decades to decades because every decade was different. But he did win a lot of MVPs. I'll give him that.
Yep. A lot. Okay. Let's go on to next question. Best NFC team versus AFC team. Best NFC team. Jeez. Who am I? Eagles probably still on top. Just where we're currently sitting. And then AFC team. It's between Ravens,
AFC.
Chiefs.
AFC's hard. And Bills.
And Bills.
Can't leave out the Bills.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Could easily be the Bengals if they just prioritized
Defense.
Yeah, it's true.
The lines, the trenches, easily.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think the Bengals are so underrated. I think they're so freaking good, but they're held back because they got no protection and they got no pass rush.
Yeah, they have to score 30 points per game if they want to win.
And they do. That's the crazy part. But yeah, AFC. I'm not going to say the Chiefs. Y'all can say it. You can hate me if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there are better teams. Y'all know I hate the Ravens, but I have the Ravens up there. I have them right there with Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
It's
a toss-up between those two.
It is.
Who's going to win in the playoffs? I'm going to give it to the Bills.
Playoffs, Bills, who I'm more afraid to face up against, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Eagles and Ravens. I think I'm more scared of what the Ravens have been doing quietly. Nobody's been raving about their moves this past offseason. So
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
For NFC, I'm not going to choose my Niners. Don't worry. But you're going to get a completely healthy team of the Detroit Lions.
But a whole bunch of new coaches. Yeah, so that's why it's a toss-up. I think, hey, maybe they get better. I don't know. But we'll see. I don't know. I think there was like 4 teams last season that had a 15-2 record, so it's going to be hard for anybody to replicate that this year, I think.
Well, for sure.
Winning that many games is not easy at all. All right. Well, we talked about the Eagles a little bit. Let's talk, the Ravens a little bit. Let's talk about Justin Tucker. Suspended 10 games.
What happened to that guy? I mean, he was the top of the world.
What a fall off for the last year.
Yeah. Horrible. Wow.
I guess he stopped getting the massages, and then it just messed up his kicking game. And then they just didn't have the money flowing anymore, so they had to resort to a lawsuit. I don't know.
I mean, let's just be real. He caught the attention because of fantasy football, because he was dropping almost 20 points a freaking game, right? So people had to nerf him. And that's why he has a name of Justin Tucker, most accurate guy, longest, whatever it is. He's a kicker at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's a kicker. The news blows off super quick. Get him out of here. Bring in the next guy. Let's be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, arguably he could be he's in my top 5 of greatest kickers of all time, honestly.
Yes.
Him, Janikowski, a couple other guys that I just can't think of at this point in time. Vinatieri, yeah, from the Colts. Like, there's a whole bunch of kickers, and obviously he stands out, but I think it's just a social media world now. If something like this happened to Janikowski or Vinatieri back then, like, it would have blown over within a day or two. I think this one will last for like no more than a week, just because there's so much social media presence now and everybody's dying to get some NFL news out there. So it is what it is. Hope he bounces back. Maybe. You never know. But yeah. I don't think he will. His accuracy is so bad at this point in time.
He will definitely get signed, in my opinion, after week 10 and week 11 with a team that either has a injury to a kicker or their kicker is just complete booty cheeks. Am I right, AJ?
Exactly.
Yep. We've been there.
Yeah, like freaking Moody.
Like Moody, like so many others.
Lost us 3 games last year.
I believe that.
Lost the Super Bowl.
Well, what was our joke last year, Vincent? Oh no, Moody's up to kick. Oh, he's going left.
He's
going right. Oh.
That was good.
Watch out, guys.
But it grew my hate for you guys just a little bit more.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey man, it wasn't our fault. We just shoot for the vibes.
It was totally mine. I came up with that.
Yeah, it was good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Sorry for content. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got for the podcast today. Do you guys have any other topics we want to go over before we end it off?
I do not. No.
No? Vince?
Nah, I don't think anything really stood out. I'm just excited that football is closer. So.
We're another week closer, every single week. Can't wait. We will be quiet for the rest of the week until next Monday, everybody. And then we'll be back for another podcast, whether that's news, hopefully something stirs up in the NFL, and if not, we'll come up with another great video for you guys. But the fantasy mock drafts start what time?
I don't know.
I'm queuing you up, AJ.
Oh,
come on, dude.
Okay, sorry. 7:00.
When?
Next Thursday.
Okay, I'm trying to get everybody hyped for fantasy, and you're just killing it. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be live sometime, I guess, and we'll see you next time. Keep on grinding.